There are always 3 speeches for everyone in the speech class. The speech the night before, they write down and they think about and they write it all out and they think it's really good and they really like it. And then the next speech is the speech they actually go and they give it to someone. And this speech isn't anything like the speech they wrote down because they're so nervous that they forget anything and everything about the speech they wrote down. And the third speech is the speech you wished you could have gave. Like the next period you're thinking, you're like, wow, I could have transitioned into this speech better by saying this or that. And that quote's by Daniel Carnegie. I really like it because I can relate so much back to it. Because I remember practicing the speech every night, late nights, just writing it down. I was like, oh, this is really nice. And then next thing you know, I'll go up there and I'm scared and anxious and I just keep forgetting everything about what I wrote down. And then I also remember the next class period, I would, like I said, think of stuff that I could transition into better or into a paragraph better, I guess. And I just think it's funny how that happens to be like that. Point 1, my biggest success in this class. Point 2, my biggest challenge in this class. And point 3, my most important advice for the kids taking the class next year. Now let's go back to point 1. Learning and figuring out how the speeches should actually be done and videoed or wearing what right clothes or how it should look and sound. I just remember thinking back on the first day that we were in the class, we had just gotten as close to the first couple weeks of school. We all got logged on to Blackboard and we were all just sitting there and we were all looking at each other like, wow, this syllabus is like, there's a lot of stuff to remember. I just remember thinking back now that I didn't know how I was going to be able to do it because it's a crazy amount of information that you needed to retain and know, but really it's not. It's pretty simple. My biggest challenge was definitely getting up in front of everybody and standing and talking to someone while they were looking right back at me because it always would make me laugh or I tend to sway. And that was always just a huge challenge for me for not to sway or even hand gestures. I'm really bad at hand gestures. So that was always a huge challenge for me. And then the biggest piece of advice that I would give to any student taking this class next year is to not procrastinate anything. And that goes with life too. You shouldn't procrastinate at all because it's a terrible habit of anything because you're gonna procrastinate it and you're gonna be there with it due next period or tomorrow for say. And you're gonna be there all night working on it and thinking, man, I probably should have done this earlier. And yes, you should have because it's gonna fill your life with stress that you don't need. And I just think procrastination is the biggest advice I would give to anyone.